Now remember, paintbrushes, let me turn this light on here. Paintbrushes are only a number of bristles that are held in place right here. Right down here with this band. What we have here is latex, which has gotten on the outside of these ferrules, and people think they can't get them off. Now you say, well, Randy, why didn't you clean that at the time? Well, the deal at the time was it was 120-degree heat, and the minute I pull the brush out of the paint, it dries on it, on the edges. Now this happens all the time. But what we want to do is we want to clean this brush. Also, this one we want to clean. We want to clean this area right here. So what I'm doing is I'm soaking this in a little bit of warm water and this sun stuff. What you can use on it is you can use a stuff called Goof Off. Now most of this paint remover is the same. And now it's not a paint stripper. It's a paint remover. And what it does, and all of them have the same thing. They have a thing called tooling in them. When you go to paint, your paint is basically a very fine sand that has a pigment with color in it. It uses water for the application to keep it liquid on the walls, and it has a binder. Now the binder is usually some type of petroleum adhesive. Now what the Goof Off does, or oops, or whatever you want to call it, is this unlocks the binder. Once the binder to the dry paint is off, then it's easy to remove the bad paint. But this doesn't work. You can use them on paintbrushes, but it's not meant to clean paintbrushes. And the best way to use this, and I'll give you another tip here, is get yourself an old toothbrush, okay? And if your white paint, like right here or here, won't come off, if it's fresh, it'll come off easy. If it's been on there since 1946, then it will take a little bit longer, but it still can be done. Get yourself an old toothbrush. Now think of the toothbrush as a little tiny plastic brush, wire brush. And what it does is it keeps those little tiny hairs rubbing in here, and it will break it down eventually. And then you can put this Goof Off on some more and take some more off. But remember also that in your woodwork, in your other paint, the woodwork has a varnish on it. Okay, all these paints have a binder, and if this is going to take off the binder in your paint that you want to take off, too much of it left on too long will take off the binder for your other paint. So if you do it in a contacted area, then it'll work fine. Now in order to clean these brushes, we want to get them warm. Put some of this on it, and we have a wire brush. You need one about this size to work. Now the reason I'm doing these brushes is because this brush on the left is probably $22. This other one's about $15. These are professional brushes, and if you've got some bullshit beat up brushes like, well, this one is a basting brush, but if you got something like a one use thing, just use it once and chuck it. Now most of the brushes are latex, unless you use white or black china. Now what that refers to is horsehair. I don't know if they're made of horsehair anymore, but a white or black china brush is excellent for putting on oil-based paint. It's 100% better than latex.